sure that the only game that's ever had a Halo jump in it was Metal Gear Solid 3.
No, they're
The only one that comes to mind.
See, now you're talking about fun games. But
God of War clones suck. All of those
Oh,
ones.
God
I hate
damn
God
it.
of War.
Let me digress on Dante's Inferno for a moment. Dante's Inferno was a game that looked like it was going to be amazingly awesome to the point that I could even look past the fact that it was a God of War clone. And then I played it, and there's absolutely no reason why you would ever want to get good experience, because you can get good and bad experience depending on if you punish a soul or absolve a soul. And there's only one thing that you can buy with good experience that's worth a shit, and then after that, fuck it, kill him. So that entire good experience mechanic, you just cut out. It serves no purpose in the game whatsoever. All of the enemies in the game are basically reused from the first couple of areas. Enemies that don't even look like they belong in the different layers of hell are there. Like they're gluttony demons in the Circle of Greed. Why?
kind of like old school Double Dragon where they just changed the color of the...
No, they didn't even change the color.
They didn't even worry about palettes?
Yeah, no, it's not even the color. It's just there, right
It
there.
takes like 3 minutes of work to
And
change
the other
palette.
thing, that bothered me a lot was all throughout the game. All throughout the game, Lucifer is
Yeah, we're
like
too far
this
into the game.
suave motherfucker, and he's this
We
villain
have to
that you just
listen to me,
want to love, and you're like, he's gonna win. He needs to win. And then you get to the boss fight with him, and he's just this stereotypical big monster, and stops being a suave bastard. Oh, you suck.
Because he's giving it to Dante's girlfriend and eventually making her like it.
Oh yeah, no, he's the biggest jackass in the game, and he makes it seem so awesome. And Dante's an asshole.
So there you go, kids. Being a jackass is awesome.
Dante is a fucking asshole. He is the worst protagonist ever.
This is not rated PG, by the way. If you haven't noticed yet, it's not rated PG.
Like you're supposed to.
17.
You're supposed to.
17, yeah.
You're supposed to care about him, and you're supposed to, feel for his struggle as he goes to get Beatrix back, and like find himself, I guess.
And the name Beatrix,
then,
really?
well, that's her name in the poem too.
I know, but that name was only cool in Kill Bill.
But, and then you start finding out a bunch of the background of the shit he did during the Crusades and everything. You're like, wow, I'm glad this guy died. He deserves to be in hell.
I don't want to change your topic on the Dante's Inferno, but if anybody wants me to jump in on bad video games, we're gonna have to talk about shit that came out a long time ago.
Go for
The
it.
newest damn game that I've played is fucking Lego Star Wars.
Wow. Well, that's
I don't own a new system.
that's
Wii is as new as I got.
that's
I had a
fair.
PlayStation 3.
The
but I
computer
sold
is
it.
the newest I got, and by far
Um,
it plays everything out there.
I get caught in that loop with these guys. They start talking about some new stuff, and I'm like, great.
I had no idea. You know what?
I regret selling it, and I don't at the same time. At one hand, it paid for me to go see Real Big Fish, but at the same time, I had to sell my fucking PlayStation 3.
On the topic of the Final Fantasy marathon, Final Fantasy II was a game that had a lot of potential, but the level up mechanics sucked.
I think it was a neat idea, but there's just horrible execution of
Oh,
the
yeah.
fucking thing.
It didn't help that the story was basically a retooling of a new rope.
One thing about it, though, I'm pretty happy that it didn't get localized for several years until after it was supposed to. Otherwise, we would have ended up with Final Fantasy Extreme.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, they were going to do that. They were going to. I can't remember the system they were going to
It was
do that
Nintendo.
for.
It was going to be on
Yeah,
Nintendo.
really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be for like fucking PC Engine or something.
No.
So fucking
It was
extreme.
going to come out here. They drew up like in fucking Nintendo Power. Like, advertisements and everything.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that
But
now.
I mean, kind of glad that they stopped.
Yeah, it's so extreme. And you're sitting here entering and canceling
It
commands
sucks worse
over
than
and
When
the
you
over.
get a little older, and it's like you required things other than a game. Mario Paint.
Mario
Wow.
Paint is horrible.
That's terrible.
It is pretty cool.
The only
I've seen
good
it
thing
play.
about Mario Paint is the song making.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They had one
the
YouTube,
composition
you
tool
can find
was
a shitload
awesome.
of people
Yeah.
who made songs.
And
on
those
it.
guys are badass who can make songs that are like really complex.
Think
out of
about
it.
the tedious amounts of work that went into that for absolutely fucking nothing.
Well, Nintendo,
Success!
Nintendo was
Sort
all
of.
about that back in the day.
Well, isn't that kind of what we do? Tedious amounts of work and the stuff, nothing coming our way.
Well, it's
Well, yeah.
something's happening to somebody. What's happening whenever they put that up on YouTube? People people watch it. That's where it's at.
432 people like.
And
Yeah, I
two
know.
dislikes.
And 2 dislikes, then you email those fucks. Don't die!
Oh yeah, no. Jerry about threw a fit when he looked at the webcast on there and it had 1 dislike. He looked at it like, "Who the fuck disliked this?"
It was boring. The first one was
Son of
extremely
a
boring. This
bitch.
one's a little better.
I'm not gonna
As far as I
lie,
know.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
I'm sure you did.
But I can admit that, and we're still friends, so that's good.
I don't know. That might be a deal breaker, man.
Which I think
That's
is
cool,
funny
Steve. I'm
when
not-
people do stuff like that to a bunch of people who are admittedly nerds. It's like, you're gonna fuck with nerds on a computer.
I know, right? That's a bad
Poke
idea.
the bear!
Speaking of which, that's about the only thing people do in Willow Springs.
Is
There's
poke bears?
No, there's this website. There's this
That's
website
fucking awesome.
called
Go
Topics.
in there!
There's this website called Topics, and you can use it pretty much. There's a forum for basically every town. And the one on Willow Springs is basically everybody just like, did you hear about what this person did? Is this person a fucking skank?
Okay.
Did you hear they're selling drugs out of Sonic? Someone called DFS on my kids. That is the entire repertoire of that town.
We also got the winner for the knife fight this time around also.
Oh,
We
there's a
finally
knife
tallied
fight?
the whole thing.
Oh yeah, when we
Is that part of the webcast?
yeah for who's
Right at the
playing
end, that's why I
between
asked
Samus
you
and
about
Alex.
Samus and...
Oh yeah, I remember now.
But
we'll
anyway,
talk about
we're
that later.
digressing a little bit too much here.
Yeah. I just like
Well,
to tell stories about stuff.
yeah. We touched on Lair as a bad game, but I think we covered why it's a bad game pretty well in the first one. Sonic 06. Let's touch on that little gem. That's
Just spare us the rage.
I will say though, it had the funnest glitch ever when you could send Sonic into space.
Really?
That was the best thing. There's a way. I think it's the second boss fight when you're playing as Sonic. You fight Silver, and he's this little psychic hedgehog from the future.
Yeah.
He's gay.
And he can catch you and fling you with his telekinetic powers. And if you're right up against the invisible wall of the boss arena, he can throw you through the wall into the half-loaded hub world. Like, the people aren't loaded, the bridges aren't loaded, but they're still, the physics are still there, so you can walk across the air and shit. But you can't get back into the boss fight. And if you're standing out there, and you jump up in the air right as Silver catches you, he'll fling you at an angle up. And the way that the physics behind his psychic attack works is you don't stop until you hit something. So you just keep going up past the texture for the sky into the black void above the map.
Hey, wait, that's the way out.
On the topic of bad Sonic
Don't
games,
tell Clue.
as much as it's a fucking classic and everybody loved it.
Yes.
It's not that I enjoyed it, but it was just kind of really bad. Sonic Adventure.
That guy don't. That guy don't think.
As far as 3D Sonic games go, it was the best 3D
And
Sonic
when you're
game.
actually playing a level, it's fine. But when you're doing all the in-between shit, running around
Yeah, that's
town,
retarded.
or any level that involves anybody but Sonic.
Yeah.
The Sonic levels are the only ones that are fun. When you're Knuckles, what are you doing? You're running around digging up jewels. You basically just set on a
Same thing with Rouge.
dick around mission. That's it.
Didn't play it.
The Tails levels aren't bad,
Sonic
but you can
Climax
just
did Sonic 2, in my opinion.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah, I like that one. I think
The
two's
first
better,
3
though.
Sonics, I like the second one better also.
Yeah.
I gotta say that the second one's probably the best of them. By the way, still trying for that Emerald Hills Act 1 in under 18 seconds.
I'm not.
I've gotten it down to 19 seconds.
It's just timing for that.
Little blue blob fury.
Yeah, someone on the SDA forums is offering like what, $75 for it?
75 or 50, something like that, for an 18-second run through Emerald Zone.
And it's like I'm not gonna submit a run for Metroid Prime to SDA until I get it under an hour because someone's offering like $800 for sub-hour on Metroid Prime.
How close are you again?
My fastest on it is an hour and 3 minutes.
I'd like to meet the person that has that kind of money to throw around. Do this real quick, and I'll give you $800 for nothing.
Well, no, you can. There are a lot of bounties on SDA that are a ridiculous amount of money. I think someone gave up like $1,100 for Chrono Trigger in under 4 hours.
That'd be tough.
Well, the current run on SDA is like 332.
That
I
makes
thought
me
about
really
doing
just
their-
not ever want to get a job again.
Well, yeah, if you get the right game, speedrunning
I'm
can
just
be
gonna
really
play these
lucrative.
games.
I thought about
For
doing
hours on end.
their
Maybe
Mass
rent
Effect
it.
single segments for 1 and 2. They're doing like 150 pounds for it. It's a good deal of money.
Which
I don't know how
is,
much that transfers over to
150 pounds is
Never
something
played
like
America.
I don't know what the current
America!
exchange rate is.
pound
America!
is
Fuck yeah.
$2.67, I think.
So I'll be making double.
But
You know what games I hated? Any of the Super Star Wars.
I liked
I
them.
like them.
They were hard.
I like the
They were
original
hard.
ones.
Yeah.
The super
They were
ones
awesome.
They were hard.
Man.
Superman 64.
Like you were
There's a
talking about
bad game.
consequences for failing.
Here's Superman.
That game had
Friday
major
these
consequences
rings
for
of
failing.
evil.
You start the damn thing over again.
That's just like Battletoads too. I mean, Battletoads gave
Battletoads,
you
you started the
consequences.
level over a couple times. You lose a life, but you go back to the.
Yeah, and then once you lose
Star
those
Wars,
lives,
it's like
you start all the
you're
way back
dead,
to
it's
the beginning.
over. Start over.
Now, Battletoads was something that, you know, a lot of people, and I'll admit it's a really hard game, but a lot of
Just
people,
the jet.
the jet bike is what everyone says is the hardest. I don't have a problem with that. It's
He
that,
says.
it's the snake pit thing near the very end
Mm.
that I find to be like the hardest because I get lost in it.
The jet bike's the thing I had trouble with.
That's
There was
really
just
the
a lot
only
of
thing I ever had
mashing
trouble
buttons
with.
and.
That's what
Loads of
everyone
fun
had
had
You kind of
problems
just
with.
went into
too.
a British accent.
And going on a close
Nor?
It's close
Nor.
call, taking the controller.
It's
and throwing
Nor,
it.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those
man.
old Nintendo controllers, I used to get so mad.
I can't believe
There was times where I just wanted to break them.
Yeah. Those things were tough. I wheeled those things like a flail.
Entertainment system, bitch!
You know, I almost
Rounded
want to
off
say your
corners
mic's
on
kind
all
of
of them.
tilting there a little bit.
What's that?
Your mic's kind of
tilting.
tilting a little bit there. What?
Yeah, we didn't get any of that because
seconds
it
like my
turned
hero.
itself off.
How long has it been off?
It hasn't been off for that.
Okay, I was about to say, did we just miss out on this entire shit?
No,
Well,
I've been
It's- you know, you were
monitoring
saying
this,
games that you
are we
didn't
back
like.
on Audio. Yeah, we're fine.
One of the games I remember playing that I hated, and I remember I threw the game, was I did. And I remember, and I was young, I was like 7, 8, and I played it. I remember playing it for just a little bit, and I got tired of it. Was Bart Simpson versus World?
Well,
Any
all of the
Simpsons
Simpsons
game on
games that
Nintendo
aren't
was
the
just
arcade
brutal.
game are bad.
Yeah, and they're fucking difficult, and you had to collect certain things, and to
Oh,
get
yeah.
to the next stage or level, or just to beat it. And when you get to your family members, they didn't really give you a lot of good hints, but the little firecracker bag bombs or whatever it was, they didn't
Cherry
provide.
bombs.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
They didn't do nothing. Whenever you're a Bart man, yeah, you could fly a very limited distance. They didn't lie about that. Maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and you're done.
Oh, I flew a pixel.
Yes,
I'm the land.
yes, and you're dead.
And you're dead.
Yeah, you fucking. Because I remember one, I had flying onto this. There was a ship. I can't remember if it was in China or someplace, but you had to get this
I
item.
remember.
Yeah, and you had to jump off, get it, and you had to fly to this spot in order to jump back up there, and it's just damn near
You
impossible.
played it on the NES, didn't you?
Yeah.
I played it on the Amiga whenever I played it.
Yeah, I played on the
That
NES.
was ridiculous. I hated that.
And after I never beat it. I just took it out. I just threw it out. I said, fuck it.
I remember renting that game
I-
once, and I played it for like an hour, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to Metroid.
Yeah, it was less than an